Hey everybody, it's InnoVision. And you know, as gamers, we like to live in the intersection of quality, performance, cost, and convenience. And one such aspect of this is we like to be able to reuse the different gadgets and gizmos that we might already have to better suit some other needs we might have at a later time or right now. One example of this is being able to stream, your high-performance gaming PC or your PlayStation 5 or other consoles to your handheld gaming PC that you already have. And in this video, we're going to show you how you can stream your PlayStation 5 to one of your handheld gaming PCs. And more specifically, we're going to show you how to stream to a Legion Go, a ROG Ally, and Ally X, and generally any Windows-based handheld PC, as well as Steam Deck. So why would you even want to do this? Well, first and foremost, you might want to play your PlayStation and someone's already using the TV. Or you don't want to invest in a PlayStation Portal since you already have a handheld gaming PC. Or there's a comfy spot that you want to lounge around and you want to be able to play on your device without having to sit in front of a TV. These are all some of the great reasons of why you'd want to stream your PlayStation to your handheld gaming PC. Now, a couple things to keep in mind before we get started. First and foremost, your experience will be greatly improved if you have your PlayStation 5 connected via wired Ethernet connectivity. And then secondly, having invested in a good Wi-Fi system will help you. Otherwise, you need to get kind of really close to your Wi-Fi access point. So I would recommend using mesh Wi-Fi. As you move around room to room in your house, your handheld gaming PC will automatically pick the best Wi-Fi access point to connect to as you're moving. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is actually acquire our PlayStation Network ID. We're going to need that to be able to fill it into the streaming client that we're going to install on our Legion Go, Ally, and Steam Deck. And so in order to get this PlayStation ID, we're going to visit the Chiaki website. And so we're just going to search for Chiaki streaming. And it's this second site here, the open source PlayStation streaming project. And so in order to get our PlayStation ID, we're going to need to download this script's PSN account-ID. And so once you click into it, you're going to want to hit View Raw. And then you're going to do a right click and then a Save As. And so I'm just going to save it in my Downloads folder. And so we now have the script. But before we can use it, we're going to have to install Python. And so in order to do that, we're just going to go to Google and search for Python. And we're going to get the one from python.org. And so we're just going to click to Downloads right away. And the very first thing right here in the bright yellow is this Python 3.12. So let's go ahead and grab that. And it's already the right machine type. So one thing that's actually really cool about this, these exact same steps will work on your Legion Go or your Ally, even if you don't have another Windows PC available to you. I would recommend getting a mouse and keyboard hooked up to it, but you can use these exact same steps. They'll work. So we're going to go ahead and install this. And so I want to do it with administrative privileges because I'm on a normal computer in case I want to use it for something else. You don't necessarily have to do that. It'll just install it locally, but there's no harm in that, especially if you're the only user of the system. So I just went ahead and said, also I want to add this path, Python exe to the path. What this means is if I go and open a command prompt, the command prompt will know how to find the Python executable. And this is going to be very important for running our script. So I just checked both options and I'm going to click install now. Okay, it's saying it's all set up. And sometimes it might give you this warning about enabling a feature that removes the restriction of the maximum number of characters that's allowed for a path or a string. Go ahead and enable that option. It's not asking me that here right now, but I've seen it on other computers. So we're all set there. And so now we're going to launch a command prompt. And so I just want to see if Python's installed correctly. And in order to do that, we can just type in Python right here and hit enter. And boom, it brings up Python 3.12. And so we know that the Python interpreter's installed correctly, so we can hit quit, or so we can type quit now, and it exits. And I'm going to go ahead and go into my downloads folder. This is where the script has been downloaded. One last thing we're going to have to do on some machines, for whatever reason, one of the default packages called requests is not installed by default. So let's go ahead and type in pip3 and then the word requests. And in our case, we've already installed it here. We need to say install pip3 install requests. And so it just downloaded it. And so now we're ready to run the script. So I just want to make sure the script's in here. So I'm going to type in dir, which stands for directory star.py. That means every file that ends in a .py. I want to see it in this folder. And so we see it right here. This PSN account ID.py. So we're all set. So let's go ahead and type in the word Python and then the name of that script. And if you have a mouse, you can just select it. And if you right click, it copies it. And if you right click again, it'll paste it. And then you hit enter. And so now it comes up, looks like the program's running, and it's saying we need to click this link. And this link is going to be how we're going to be able to grab our credentials to be able to get the PSN ID. So once we go to this link, we're going to actually have to type in our email address and password to actually log into our PSN account using our normal PSN ID. The PSN ID that we're going to get back is a number that's base 64. It's basically a special string that's a unique number that maps to your PlayStation ID. And so we're going to want to hold down the control button and click. And so here we are. And so I'm just going to type in my email address. And then we'll type in our password. And then it's going to ask me to enter code that I get from my text message. And so once we enter this code, it's going to redirect us to another page. And we're going to hit verify. Alright, and this page says redirect. And so the program that we're running in our console over here wants us to grab this URL, copy it, and then paste it back here in the command line. And you can do that by right clicking once you've copied it, and then we're going to hit enter. And then boom, it just grabbed our PSN account ID down here. Alright, so you're going to want to take that PSN account ID and either write it down or copy it somewhere so that we can use it for the rest of the installation. Once you're done with that, you can dispose of it. I wouldn't recommend keeping it around because it is unique to your account. But I mean, somebody would have to really know that that's a PlayStation Network ID. I mean, what's the likelihood of that? At any rate, we're ready for the next step. And so we're going to begin installing our Chiaki streaming client on our handheld gaming PCs. All right, to get started streaming your PlayStation on your Legion Go and ROG Ally, the first thing you want to do is download this software called Chiaki PlayStation Streaming Client. So we're just going to search for Chiaki PlayStation and then streaming. And so this is the very first site that comes up, this free open source PlayStation Remote Play. That's the one we're going to want to go into. And we're going to want to go to the download section. And I'll provide links in the description of the video. And so we're going to want to just grab the latest version right here. And we want the Windows x86_64.zip. So we're going to download that file. And once it's downloaded, we're going to go ahead and open it up. And we're going to want to take all the files and extract them and put them in a nice location. So what we're going to do is go ahead and let's just put them in the root of the C drive. So I'm going to my local disk C drive, and I'm going to create a folder in here, and I'm just going to name it Chiaki. And I'm pasting the files right in there. So now we have all the files. And so now that we've got the program, essentially it's installed now. Now that we've got the program installed, the next thing we're going to want to do is probably create a shortcut. And to do that, I'm just going to paste the path in here, and we want to look for that Chiaki.exe. If you don't have file extensions already enabled on your device, it's okay. You'll just see Chiaki, and it looks like a little window, like a Windows program. So I'm going to click on that, and that's the location of the item, and I'm just going to rename the shortcut to Chiaki. And you can change the shortcut later to have some, nicer looking icon, but for now we're just going to roll with this. So we're going to go ahead and launch it, and the computer's just asking, do we allow this program, to have trusted network access? Do you trust the developer of the program? The answer is yes. All right. And so once you've launched the program, you're going to want to find the PlayStation that you want to stream from. And so you might have a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5 on the same network. So just be mindful that that you're using the PlayStation 5. So I'm going to adjust the settings here. So to adjust the settings, you're going to click this little cog icon, and I want to set the PS5 to 1080p, and then we're just going to close this. I can't stress enough how important it is that you're going to want to make sure your PlayStation 5 is connected via wired Ethernet, so that the only wireless component in this whole streaming pipeline is going to be your Legion Go, your ROG Ally, or your Steam Deck. Okay, so now we're all set up. So now we're going to take the PSN account ID that we created using the Python script, and we're going to type it in here. Alright, so we've got our PlayStation account ID, and now we're going to need a pin from our PlayStation console. To get your PlayStation Remote Play pin, you're going to have to go on your PlayStation, go into Settings, then go into System, and then go into Remote Play, and then click Pair Device. And it's going to give you a Remote Play pin. We're going to want to go back on our Windows-based handheld gaming PC and enter this pin. Alright, so we've got our pin for our PlayStation console, and this pin is good for a few minutes. So now we've typed our pin, we're going to register, and boom, it's successful. So now we're ready to start streaming. Let's give it a try. Alright, and if you right click on the streaming window, so here we go, we're in our PlayStation settings, and we're using our Xbox controller connected to our Legion Go. And so we can hit F11 on our keyboard, or right click and select full screen, and there we go, we have full screen PlayStation. So that's all working. And so the next thing we're going to want to do, so we hit F11 to get out of full screen. The next thing we're going to want to do is actually go ahead and add this to our Steam library. So I'm putting the PlayStation back into rest mode. I want to add Chiaki to our Steam library. And to do that, you're just going to open Steam, and you might be here, you'll start off on the store page. Go ahead and click on the library tab, and then down here on the bottom left there's add game. So we're going to go to add game and then add a non-Steam game. Alright, and it's going to show us all the programs that are installed on the C drive, and look right here, it's in alphabetical order, and Chiaki is already there. And just confirm that the location's right, so it's on the C drive under a folder named Chiaki, and the program is Chiaki.exe. So we're going to go ahead and select that and hit add selected programs. And so now we should be able to scroll up to the C section, and now Chiaki shows up in our Steam library. So we can hit play now, and there we go. And then we're going to double click on the PlayStation we want to connect to, and it's just saying, hey, this one's in standby mode, and it sent a wake up packet, and now the console is awake. Once it comes fully online, so it's ready, so now we can connect to it. And so the last thing we're going to want to do, see right now the share button is mapped to the PlayStation's share button, which is normal and by design. But the problem is when you're playing on the Legion Go with just the Legion Go controllers, or you're playing on ROG Ally without any other controller or keyboard or mouse, you're going to want something a little bit more convenient, so that whenever we hit the share button, I want it to bring up the same menu that comes up when you can set the PlayStation into rest mode, or if you long press it, it'll bring up the menu to close your game out. And so we want to bring up the PlayStation menu versus going into the share functionality. And so let me go ahead and exit off of this. And I'm going to show you how to change the share button to simulate the escape key. All right. And so if we go under the controller settings here, we're going to be using Steam input. Yep, enable Steam input. And so it just detects it as a gamepad. We're going to want to search the community layouts. And so under community layouts, we're going to want to pick this one, Chiaki on PS5 on Xbox. And so it's already got the share key mapped to the escape key, which is ideal. But if you didn't have the share key mapped to the escape key, you'd click on view layout and then go to this share button here and click on it. And then you can actually change what commands are pressed here. And you can it'll bring up a keyboard and you can select the escape key. Hey everybody, it's Astrobot. Well, what do you know? Now you can stream your PlayStation anywhere in your house and almost anywhere in the world as long as the latency of your network permits. Once you have your Steam Deck in desktop mode, go ahead and click on the App Store icon and search for the word Chiaki, Chiaki, and hit enter. You should see an app named Chiaki-NG pop up. Go ahead and click install on it. Once it's done downloading, you can click on the app in the store window, and then the option to launch the app will appear. Go ahead and launch the app. Once the app window pops up, you'll see a list of PlayStations available for connection. Go ahead and select the PlayStation you wish to connect to. Now we need to go ahead and enter the PlayStation Network ID we acquired earlier in the video using the Python script. Now we go back to our PlayStation console and create a remote play pin. To get your PlayStation remote play pin, you're going to have to go on your PlayStation, go into settings, then go into system, and then go into remote play, and then click pair device. And it's going to give you a remote play pin. We're going to want to go back on our handheld gaming PC and enter this pin. Once you've entered your PlayStation remote play pin, go ahead and click register. Now we're able to connect to our console. Once we've confirmed the connection's good, let's go ahead and exit Chiaki so we can add it to our Steam library. Click Add Game to Library in the lower left-hand corner and then select Add Non-Steam Game. Select Chiaki-NG, then click Add Selected Programs. With Chiaki in your library, you can launch it like any other game. Now the last thing we have left to do is set up our controller input. And this is identical to the process we used for the Windows-based gaming handhelds earlier in the video. And what we can do is use one of the predefined community mappings, or you can remap the share button functionality to simulate a long press of the PlayStation button or a short press of the PlayStation button, which will bring up the menu to enter rest mode. Woohoo! We've transformed our Steam Deck into a fully functional PlayStation Portable with equivalent button mappings. Now you can play your PC gaming library and your PlayStation library anywhere you want to go. We hope you enjoyed transforming your handheld gaming PC into a bona fide PlayStation Portal as much as we did today. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the cool gaming tips, tricks, and mods we've got coming down the pipeline.